Okay, Mr. Brewster, we're in session and calls number 332-344. The case is style of State of Texas versus Frank Brewster. Mr. Brewster, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Brewster, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Brewster, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Brewster?
I'm doing all right this morning.
That's good. Now, Mr. Brewster, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Ryan Matuska. Attorney Matuska, do you waive a record in Mr. Brewster's case?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Brewster, I have before me a document that is titled Information. This information alleges that on or about March 23rd of 2022, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of criminal trespassing. Mr. Brewster, do you understand what you have been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Brewster, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Brewster, I also have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment. On page 2 of this document, Mr. Brewster, there are a set of initials, FB, that are on a line that is titled guilty. Mr. Brewster, did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
And on page 3 of this same document, there's a signature above the line that's titled defendant. Mr. Brewster, did you also sign this document?
Yes, sir.
And at the top of the same document, well, on the next document, Mr. Brewster, this document is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. Mr. Brewster, did you also sign this document?
Yes, sir.
There's a document on the tablet that's titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. There's a signature at the bottom above the line that is titled Defendant. Did you also sign this document?
Yes, sir.
At the top of this same document, there are 2 boxes that are checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box that's checked states that you are waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Brewster, did you sign a document out there on paper that is titled Discovery Certification?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Brewster, before you signed and initialed these documents, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
All was, yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State. Well, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer States 1?
Yes, Judge. State offer States 1.
Any objections, Mr.
Yeah.
Matuska? And Mr. Matuska, you are waiving a record in Mr. Brewster's case, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, Mr. Brewster, I have your attorney, Mr. Matuska, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Brewster, Mr. Matuska, you've advised and counseled Mr. Brewster. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, sir.
Okay. Mr. Brewster,
Yes,
I
sir.
will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
In exchange for the defendant's plea in this case, the state's recommending confinement in the Jefferson County Jail for a period of 30 days, and that we ask that the court also give the defendant credit for any time that he's entitled to by law.
Okay. Mr. Brewster,
Yes,
the
sir.
state is offering that you serve 30 days in the Jefferson County Jail. You will be given credit for any time that you are entitled to get by law. The court cost in this case is $327. Mr. Brewster, will you be able to pay the $327?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, Mr. Brewster, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
I accept.
Okay, Mr. Brewster, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Brewster, this will conclude your case. You can follow the bailiff, and Mr. Brewster, you have a blessed day.
So I'm going home today?
Mr. Brewster, the jail is gonna calculate your time.
All right.
Thank you. Yes. Right here.
What's up, Mr. Boyd?
Is it Donald Orchard?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It's
How you doing?
Orchid?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
The orchid like the flower.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Court is in session in cause number 332514. Case is style of state of Texas versus Donald Paul Orchid. Mr. Orchid, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Orchid, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir. I swear.
Okay, Mr. Orchid, would you please place your hand down? All right, how are you doing, Mr. Orchid?
I'm good.
That's good.
Home.
Okay, now, Mr. Orchid, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Ryan Matuska. Attorney Matuska, do you waive a record in Mr. Orchid's case?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Orchid,
Yes,
I
sir.
have before me a document that is titled misdemeanor, well, that is titled information. This information alleges that on or about May 1st of 2022, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of criminal trespassing. Mr. Orchid, do you understand what you have been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Orchid, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Me and the attorney discussed the other day, yesterday, and we were guilty.
Okay, you pleading guilty? Now, Mr. Orchid, are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yeah, because I did trespass that day, and I should
Okay.
have.
Now, and are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir. I sure am.
Okay, now, Mr. Orchid, I have before me a document that is titled misdemeanor plea admonishments. On page 2 of this document, Mr. Orchid, there's a set of initials above the line that is titled, well, next to a line that's titled guilty. Mr. Orchid, did you place your initials D.O. on this line?
Yes, sir. He said I was going to get.
Okay, on the next page of the same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Mr. Orchid, did you also sign this document?
Yes, sir.
On the next document, Mr. Orchid, the next document is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. There's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Mr. Orchid, did you also sign this document?
Yes, sir, I did.
At the top of the same document, Mr. Orchid, there is there are two boxes that's checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, now the next box states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
No.
Okay, hold on a minute, Mr. Arkin, I'll give you an opportunity to talk to your attorney. The court will be in recess and then